Yo, 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 welcome to the show. Welcome to the Social Sunshine Podcast, episode 198. I am your hostess, Britney Crosson. 198. We are so close to episode 200, which is really fucking cool. Also, 98 happens to be the year I graduated high school. I'm numbers obsessed. If you don't know that about me, now you know. I count stairs when I walk upstairs. I love angel numbers. Like, numbers are my thing. So, anyway, 198, here we go today. It's going to be an episode about growth on social media. I also want to talk to you a little bit about Threads, which is a new social media platform. So let's dive right in. So the reason why I connected these two topics, growth and Threads, is because actually I wanted to talk to you first about growth on social media because I get asked all the time, how do I grow on social media? How do I just like blow up on social media? How do you go viral? How do you, get more followers? And so I actually posted on Threads about that topic. And so I was using that post as inspiration for this episode, right? And then I thought, you know what? We also need to talk a little bit about Threads. It's the newest social media platform out there. As of right now, I'm recording this episode on July, what is today? July 18th, 2023. Threads is maybe 2 weeks old. It's very new and it's connected with Instagram. If you're not familiar, it's very Twitter-esque because the focus is really more text than it is video. Instagram has really turned into a platform where video is a big deal there. And just as like TikTok, video is pretty much everything. You can do photos, you can post photos on TikTok, but obviously it's like driven by video, right? And so Instagram video has been so freaking popular, Reels, and now Reels on Facebook are really popular. And there's been all of like the Twitter drama in the news with Elon and all that stuff, which I really don't keep up with all of that drama, but I know there is drama and there's people that love Elon and people that do not. And so Twitter has been in an interesting position ever since he took over. So here comes Threads, thanks to the people behind Instagram, Meta, Facebook, that's all one company. And so it came out, and of course I hopped on right away because one, I do social media for a living. So I really need to at least just know a little bit about every platform. But two, it was connected to Instagram. So for me, it just made sense because I love Instagram. I call Instagram my social media hub. I think that anybody that's going to have a presence all over the internet needs to have like a social media hub, like their main place. But then, of course, you have secondary platforms where you post as well. Instagram is my hub. I've been on it since like 2012. I enjoy it. I like the way it works. I like the features. I like the community that I've built there. I interact with people the most there. It just feels good. And then, of course, I post on all the others as well. So with Threads being connected to Instagram, it was like, well, you kind of have these like built-in things that kind of makes it convenient. It's like, do you want to just transfer your bio from Instagram over to here? Okay, that's less work for you to do. It also talks about like, do you want to go ahead and follow all of the accounts that you follow on Instagram if they're on Threads, and it just kind of like brings your Instagram audience over, which there's been criticism of that as well, which there's always criticism of social media, right? But my feelings in general so far, in less than 2 weeks, I have over 2,400 followers. On Instagram, I have over 28,000. So, it's a bit of a difference, but I feel like in that short amount of time, it's not that much time to already be at over 2,000 followers. So that's cool. Also, like I said, it's very Twitterish. So like if you don't want to have to mess with videos a whole lot, if that drives you crazy, then this might be the platform for you. If you like to write, this might be the platform for you. If you like conversations, like quick conversations and things, it's very similar to Twitter, then this might be the platform for you. But no matter what, I say if you have an Instagram account, then just go ahead and get a Threads account. Like go ahead and set it up. That way you have reserved your name there. And that way you can use it in the future if you want to, if you're not using it yet. So I'm having fun with it there. It's cool to be one of the first people on a new social media platform. I joined the first day. It's cool, the interaction that you get, especially at first. And I just thought, why not build up some momentum and do this? It's not that hard. I love Instagram anyway. Let's go for it. So I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to know if you are. Let me know. Reach out to me on social, message the show, message me, and tell me what you think about Threads. And if you're on there, go find me and say hello. Um, oh, and one more thing about Threads. As of right now, hashtags are not a thing yet. So if you put in a hashtag, it don't work. It's not active. It's not a thing. This could be changing. Again, I'm recording this on July 18th, so we'll see. Maybe that'll change. All right. So, what I want to talk to you about growth is what it takes to grow on social media. This is such a conversation, and it can be very complex, and there's so many variables, and also there's luck, and there's people that cheat because they buy in fucking followers. Like, there's a lot to consider in this conversation, but I did make a list of 5 things that your social media content needs to have growth. And how much growth depends upon how well you do these things, and also depends upon how often you're posting. It depends on if you're posting on the right platform for the kind of people you want to reach. It really, like I said, there's a gazillion variables, but I still want to tell you these 5 things, because these 5 things are going to improve your content even if you don't care about having massive growth. Okay. So, first is messaging. And if you're not familiar really with marketing in general, messaging is it, well, I mean, you could literally say, like, it's what is your message, right? What is your message as an individual creator, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a brand? What is your message? Like, what are you trying to do? What's your thing? What are you doing? You know, it's almost like how back in the day you'd have like a motto. Like, it's similar to that, right? Like, what's your message? What's your mission? And that's something that, like, if you worked with a branding expert, they would go over that with you. That's something that we've done classes about in my membership in Small Biz Social Society. So that's something for you to look at as well if you're a member. If you're not, then we open enrollment a few times a year. But your messaging in your social media content, what I mean by that is, like, say, okay, you go ahead and you write it down, or you note it in your phone, and you know what your message is, you know your mission. Like, who are you trying to help? What are you trying to help them do? Like, if you share recipes, right? This is a pretty easy example to think about, right? We can all relate to eating. So if you share recipes, then maybe your message is like, bringing families together around the table for dinner, to enjoy this delicious food that they can make in the kitchen together. Like, you're trying to bring families together with food, right? That's your message. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's an example of a message. So whatever your message is for your brand, your social media content should refer to that all the time, all the fucking time, every fucking post. Okay. Now, are there exceptions? Yes. I always talk about exceptions. If it's your aunt's birthday and you want to post about that, cool. Like, do what you got to do. But all the other posts should revolve around or be connected to your message. And if you're worried about repeating yourself, you're going to have to fucking stop, because marketing it goes with repetition. And there's so many reasons for that. I'm sure a psychologist could go crazy on that topic with us, right? And really dig in. We should do that sometime. Let's make a note that we should have a psychologist on the show to talk about repetition and marketing. If you really want to nerd out with me, stay tuned for more information on that episode. Or if you're like, that sounds fucking horrible, Brittany, then never mind. So repetition and marketing, though, seriously, whether it's social media marketing or any other kind of marketing, one, it helps you really, really, really drive home, like, all the information about your brand all the time, right? Just over and over and over. Like, how many times have we all seen that Hershey's Kisses commercial during the holiday season, where they go up like the bells, and play the song? Like, we've all seen that a lot. And one, it's charming, so we don't mind seeing it over and over. But two, it does accomplish a goal, right? It reminds us about Hershey's Kisses. It makes us feel a little happy because of the tune. It reminds us that it's holiday season. It's familiar. It's comforting. It helps us remember how delicious they are. All that stuff, right? So repetition is actually really good. Now, when you're making social media posts and you want to repeat your messaging in every post, then you're just going to have to get a little creative in how you repeat that message. You're going to change up your wording sometimes, change up the wording in the caption, change up the wording in the actual like pop-up text within the reel if you're doing it that way, change up the wording in your carousel post if you design those. um, talk about it on camera, actually talk about your message, and who you're there to help, and like offer up actual free information for people. All of that needs to be happening all the time. Okay. All right, messaging. I could just go on and on about messaging, so I just need to calm down. I'm going to calm down. I like messaging. Attention is number 2. That's really what marketing is, right? Messaging and attention. That's pretty much it. You've got to grab people's attention if you want to grow on social media. And you know that. Like we all know that. Like if the accounts that end up growing, they grabbed our attention. If they didn't grab our attention, then we kept scrolling. Therefore, they probably didn't gain very many followers or very many views or anything, right? So you've got to grab people's attention. Now, if you think that means that you have to do something outrageous that's out of character for you, you're wrong. That's not what you have to do. But you also don't need to be holding back if you do know how to do something outrageous. I mean, think about it. I'm over here dancing on a treadmill. If you know how to juggle fire, you've probably heard me say this a gazillion times if you've been listening to the show for a long time. Juggle fucking fire on social media. Like, do it and then talk about your topic, like while you're juggling fire or some shit. Like, do what it takes to get people's attention. There is no shame in that. I mean, just so long as we're being good people and we're not being assholes and we're not hurting anyone along the way, all the obvious things. But besides that, do what you got to do to get attention, really. And if it's something that feels genuine to you, a way of getting attention, a way of grabbing someone's eyeballs, then that's the way to go because it feels natural to you. So it's not going to look or feel forced to the person, consuming your content. Right. So, I'm going to use myself as an example. So I love, 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 love to dance so much. It's one of my most favorite things in existence. So if I'm dancing, it feels good. It already just naturally feels good in my life. And so that comes across on camera and it makes the whole thing seem like I'm doing it with ease and there's joy and all that stuff in the content because I genuinely love it. And then I just put myself on a treadmill and it's like, wow, that gets some attention because that's a little bit different than regular dancing. Although dancing by itself already gets attention. But you see what I'm saying? So think about it that way. Think about how you can have something that feels good to you, so it's genuine, but it's definitely going to grab attention. Even if that means wearing bright colors, even if that means amping up your energy a bit, even if that means moving your hands more when you talk, don't hold back. Don't feel like you have to be shy. Like just be you, be bold you, and it's going to really, really help grab attention. Okay, number 3 is consistency. Look, don't roll your eyes. I don't want to see it. And I can hear some of you rolling your eyes, all right? But it's true. Consistency. Like keep on showing up on a regular basis. Commit to something. If you are wishy-washy, that is not how it's going to work. That's not going to help it work out well for you. Now, if social media isn't a priority for you, if it's like kind of lower down on the list, then whatever, I guess being consistent. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? But then if it didn't matter to you, then it probably wouldn't be listening to this episode. So if it's a priority for you, pick something you can stick with, however many posts per week, and do it. Stick with it, prioritize it. I get asked like, how do you do it? You're always posting on social media and you own a company, you got people working for you and you have a show and you got kids. And I just make a promise to myself. I prioritize it. It's important. I file it under things you got to fucking do for your work and it needs to happen. And then I do it. Right. So you can figure out the time, you can figure out a way. And you can do it. You can be consistent. When you add messaging, attention, and consistency, you're like rock star status. Now, let's get on to super rock star status with the last 2. Number 4 is honesty. And what I mean by this is not just I'm telling the truth right now. I'm not being a liar on social media and telling you some story of something that's not real. I don't mean only just literally being honest, although that is a good thing, right? We don't want to be liars. But what I'm referring to as well is what's kind of like what I was saying a minute ago. Like what's true to you, what's genuine. Like if something feels weird or off to do it, like on camera or in photos, or to create something, or something that you wrote doesn't feel like you, it feels off, then that you probably shouldn't share that kind of content. You probably, you need to lean into stuff that really is honest for you, that is true to you in your life and feels right. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes along the way. Like you might try something that you think is pretty interesting, and then it doesn't really feel good, and then you have to like not do it anymore, and that's okay. You should, there's a lot of trial and error with social media, being a social media creator, no matter what. But I want you to always be honest. Be honest with your audience, be honest with yourself. People can see that shit whenever we're being dishonest. They may not always be able to articulate exactly what the problem is, but an audience member can smell a fucking problem from a mile away. They can tell whenever something just isn't jiving. Like this bitch over here fucking dancing, but she looks like she hates dancing, right? Like that kind of thing. So, I want you to just always be honest with your audience and yourself, because any creator that has built up a really great brand on social media the right way, without cheating and without buying followers or anything, um, was honest. And if they weren't, if it was all fake, then they get found out eventually, right? All right, and then number 5, the last one, is vulnerability. Look, this can get really deep as well. You can have different levels of vulnerability, right, in life, but in this case, social media. I do talk about how we are onions and we peel away layers as we go on, and we can be more and more open with our audiences over time. It doesn't just happen magically with a snap of a finger. But in general, vulnerability is good. Now, don't get me wrong. This does not mean you have to tell the world all of your secrets. You don't need to talk about how much you pooped today. We don't need to know about, your potty training of your kids if you don't want to talk about stuff like that. Like, private, there's a difference between private and personal. And if it's private and you don't want to talk about it or include it in your social content, then don't. But whatever you do decide to talk about, the goal is to make sure you're being vulnerable. You're opening up. You're willing to do that. No matter your topic, no matter what kind of person you are, what kind of thing you're doing on social media, it's already being vulnerable just to be on social media as an individual, right? Like it can feel really uncomfortable for a lot of people, and I understand that. But if you can at least just start peeling back those onion layers and be a little more vulnerable and a little more vulnerable. And if you can just commit to that, that right there is one of the things that's going to take you over the edge. It's going to take it over the fucking edge and really, really help you have that growth and the increase in all those numbers that you want on social media. And that's a personal journey. That's you going through it and figuring out what you're willing to share. And along with being more vulnerable on social media comes our fear of judgment from others. That's something you've probably heard me talk about a lot. And that's the fear of judgment from others stops so many people from doing so many fucking things on social media and beyond. It's mind blowing, honestly. And it's upsetting to me. And I've been there. We've all been there, where we were worried about what somebody would think. What are they going to think about this post? Oh shit, my Aunt Sally's going to see this, and she can really be a bitch, and she is going to say some shit. She going to tell my mom. They're going to start shit whenever we get together for Easter next weekend, right? Like we've all had those thoughts. But part of this journey of being, a creator publicly, standing out on social media, stepping up to be a leader, taking on this role that probably, if you're listening to this show, you want. It's the role I always wanted, to be a leader, to make an impact on other humans and help as many people as possible, entertain as many as possible, educate, whatever you do. And part of that process is figuring out how to keep moving forward, even if you're fearing judgment from others. Because that fear will likely never 100% go away. I think it's a natural human thing to at least somewhat consider what someone might say about something, worrying a little that maybe they wouldn't like it. But you can get better at it, and you can make it to where it's a minimal issue rather than a gigantic issue. So I urge you to work on that, because that's going to help you be more vulnerable, which is going to help more people be attracted to you, because they're going to feel like, oh, wow, they just shared ABCD about their life. That happened to me. Oh my gosh, I'm having this real human connection. I really like this person. Then they're going to trust you. They're going to follow along your journey. And then all the magic happens after that. All right. So, all right, we had messaging, attention, consistency, honesty, and vulnerability. Those are 5 big ones. If you can include that in your social media content, you can grow on social media. And remember, like I said, you've got people that cheat. You never know. You never know how somebody got all those followers. It's annoying, basically. I have a lot to say about it, but it's annoying, and people are still doing it. So keep that in mind. Give yourself some grace, all right? And also keep in mind that everybody is a unique snowflake. And as easy as it is to compare ourselves to the person next to us or the person across the room or across the fucking world, whatever it is, try your best not to do that. Just try. And if you're gonna do that, do it in a productive sense. Look at what they're doing and try to learn from it. And then you can kind of like put your own spin on the kind of structure they have or the type of thing they're doing. So try not to compare to then end up talking shit to yourself and making yourself feel bad. If you want to compare, do it in a productive way. All right? And know that sometimes people go viral because they had some good luck. In fact, a lot of times that's what happens. So, and you don't want that. You want bigger numbers consistently. So, try all these things out. I hope that it's helpful for you. I hope that you'll let me know if you've tried these things. If you have questions about these things, I want you to come to me on Instagram at Britney Crosson, and I want you to message me, and I want you to tell me your feelings on this, what you're trying out. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer your DMs. Even if it takes me a couple days, please bear with me, but I will do it. And follow the show on Instagram, follow me, reach out anytime. And let me know if you're on Threads, all right? So give me a follow on Threads, send me a message, let me know that you're there. I want to know how you're liking it, if you're using it, how you're feeling about it, and all that jazz. All right, you guys, that's it. Time for you to get out there and shine on social media. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I'll talk to you later.